guys, Shevsky here, and today we're going to talk about why the crime rate goes high within the youth and why it affects so many people up in London. So from my point of view, the way it goes, like where I grew up in West London, how should I say it? It's a long subject, but people up in London, especially the youth, get basically if you have a older brother especially, they tend to go to it's just all hood, isn't it? Like people just start talking about how olders are the ones and the youngers look up to them. So if the olders start doing drugs, the youngers are going to think, oh, it's the right thing to do, so they're going to start doing it, which is not the right way of setting your life, because youngers look up to the elders, and the elders are the ones who tell them how you need to live your life. And the worst thing is now, there's more crime rate going up and young people being stabbed because they look up into the elders, and social media tends to be the worst thing nowadays because they look at how famous and young people just get along with their lives, and they think it's the right thing to do, so carrying knives and guns and all this stuff, doing drugs, it's not good, but it's what tends to be coming up throughout these years in London. And it all started because it started off America, then the London people go into it, and it started a long time ago, 2008, 2010, as I remember it, and it's not quite fun. But anyways, yeah, it's just youngers looking up to elders, and the elders should be a better role models to youngers nowadays. But what they tend to do, most of them are locked up nowadays because of what they got themselves into, trying to help their families and how they're trying to make themselves be known. And that's what tends to lead people being lost in life, because they're trying to show off to their friends and everyone around them instead of focusing on themselves and doing things that's right for them. And youngers tend to follow the steps of them, and which leads to carrying knives and stuff like that. So for that reason, lots of youth being stabbed because they trying to just show off to all the olders, showing that, oh look, I'm big, I'm carrying a knife and being like you. And olders usually tend to be like, yo, what are you doing? You can't do that because you're not a part of it. It's a different type of lifestyle for the oldest because they grew up into it, and the youngest think they just can get into it and think it's the right thing to do, like bunking school, going home late, not even leaving home early. The youngest now try to go into the adult life way too much in London, which is a big thing because lots of young girls getting pregnant, and that causes even more problems within families and stuff like that, which is causing more youth-related things to go badly. And it's just mental. Where I come from, you get lots of it. 2 of my friends actually been stabbed, so it's not fun. One of them died from drugs, so that's not fun as well. So I'm trying, every time I see youngers and I see how they act, I always try to tell them, yo, you can't do that, man. Just do the right thing, do music, do something that you're passionate about. Don't just do what others do because it's trending. That's not the way to go about life. So the whole problem couldn't be literally, it's all about the government showing people how they can change their lives easily instead of trying to take away from them. Schools, especially schools, can do more for the youth, because all they tend to do is just get under their skin, and kids are like, oh, let's not go to school because it's all bad. And that's how they start going into the streets, because they don't want to go to school, so they start going to the streets and they start meeting people that they shouldn't meet, which are bad influence on them, and that's how they change. And then they grow into the thing of being on the streets and doing guns and drugs and just selling and everything, and which is not good. It's not a good thing. And usually what I tend to be, things change, man. Things change, and it's not good. And many people start asking themselves, they start doing it, and then after a couple times, they're like, is that actually the way it should be? And then they get themselves into dirt that they should not be into, and then sometimes too late for them to get out of it, because some of them end up being in jail, and then when they leave, they have nothing to do with their lives. So instead of that, they should youth community, government, schools and stuff like that should try to take it away from the kids. Like try to give them more time to spend on. I'm from a music environment, so for me it's easier to like. I found myself in music and I never had the time to be on the streets. Like, I was always at home producing beats, being in school, like trying to put myself out there. And most of these kids, because they failed at school, they think there's nothing else for them to do. It's just go on streets and just. That's the second plan B for most of the people in London, thinking, oh, if that school don't work out, what I want to do doesn't work out, they go to the street because it's easy money, and that's the only reason for them to just find themselves there. Encourage people to stop doing it and give more time to them, and families as well, man. Families are the most key things. The way you get treated, raised at home, is the ways you're raised as a human being, because the ways your parents raise you, that's the way you're going to go. And most of the times, because nowadays there's more younger parents, which is the worst thing about it, because they're still thinking about partying and doing all this fun stuff for them and not care about the kid, which the kid raises into being like that, which is not good. And most of the time the dads turn into being in gangs and stuff like that, and the kid looks up to it, and the dad's not the best influence for the kid. And that turns to be one of the reasons as well. It's quite crazy. Personally, me, I want to help the youth, man. I want to help them see how they can get involved in life, and trying to help every time I see a youth doing something bad, try to chat to them and see like what's their encouraging in life. Like if you go to a youth now asking what's your plan for life, they don't know. They don't really know, because they don't have many options nowadays, which is one of the bad things as well. And that's why they tend to go on the streets and violate and just doing all these bad things, stealing, and just many other things which most of the people don't know about. And it's just like trying to find out the question why is not an easy. It's not question why is not easy, because there's many things that lead into different stuff. Why? It goes from families, it goes from schools, it goes from governments, but it's an independent person and the mentality of the actual person if he can stop himself from doing something bad. Like everyone in their life done something bad, but it's on them to know if they can stop it or not, if you know what I mean. And if they can stop themselves from doing something bad, then that means that they're mentally good. And some people lack from like depressions and stuff like that, which causes them to do bad things because they just want to show themselves out to people, which is another way of mental illness and stuff like that. But if we're talking about how crime can be resolved, I think there's crime will always be about, and there's no way of actually getting rid of it, because if the world would be good just without crime or anything, this world would be a chaos. If the world would be bad, it would be a chaos. And it's always that middle part that it's from the individual person to see what they want to achieve in life, what they want to do. Like, I've been on a bad path, I've done my dirt in life, but I woken up and I knew what I want to be, what I want to achieve in my life. Like, I don't want to be around the streets and ending up like one of the homeless people because I wanted to show off to my friends. Because most of these people that you want to show off to end up being on the right path, and you're the one that looks like a dummy. And then you look like an idiot and they're laughing at you and not with you, which is one of the bad things that you need to clock in life. The people that you laugh with may not be laughing with you, they might be laughing at you and what you do. So you need to think about what you as an individual person want to become in life, and is crime the actual way you want to live? Because it's fun at the beginning, but if you get yourself too deep into it, it will end up badly. Like, because once you go into the crime life, it's not easy to get out of it, because everyone knows you for a certain thing that you've done. Like, let's say you used to be a drug dealer and now you want to stop it, but people around you will know you for that part because you've been a drug dealer, you've been accused of selling drugs or doing some bad stuff. So your past, whatever you do now, will literally lead on to you in your future life. Like, everyone will remember you for something. Same with the whole thing with Chris Brown and Rihanna. It's still leading, people still talk about it. It's sort of same thing. Like, you choose what you want to be in life, and without that, you're not going to achieve anything. Media is like the most important thing nowadays, because it passes on passes on a message to another listener on what they want to achieve. Like nowadays in London, drill is a big thing, so people get into drill. Back then it was trap, it was music. Music is a big one of them, but media as well, like TV and stuff and movies and stuff. Like people look up to these sort of things, so that's why they want to become that sort of environment. They want to be in that environment because they see it as an awesome thing and stuff like that. So and it's just like, do what you love at the end of the day. If you love me, like even don't look at what other people think about it. If you think that, I don't know, something random, I don't know, just become working in a Lego store, or doing something that others think, oh, it's stupid, or don't do, because it's like you're gonna be moist and all that stuff. Don't listen to them people, because most of the time them people don't achieve nothing because they don't want to see you ahead of them. That's why they want to be there saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that, be like us, come with us, do this and do that. And most of the time they don't achieve anything, and you can be up there living, getting your money every fucking month, like 2 or 3 grand a month, and you're living, and they're just there looking after you, hating, or you've never been there for me, and try just changing. And it's just, this is why it's good to not follow others, be your own leader basically. That's all for me.